What if, right now, sitting somewhere in an old drawer or forgotten coin jar, there lies a fortune worth more than you could ever imagine? What if that simple silver coin in your hand isn't just metal, but a hidden gateway to history and unimaginable wealth? Welcome back to Secret of U.S. coins, where every coin has a story, and some stories are worth a lifetime of fortune. Today, we're uncovering the most valuable standing Liberty quarters and Franklin half dollars ever found. 10 mysterious pieces that have stunned collectors, broken records, and changed lives forever. These aren't just coins. These are legends of American treasure, forgotten by time, reborn in the hands of the lucky few who discovered them. And trust me, you won't believe the value of coin number 10. It's a once-in-a-century discovery that turned an ordinary collector into a legend. So tighten your seatbelt, coin hunters, because what you're about to see will change the way you look at U.S. coins forever. Let's begin with the one that started the fire, the majestic standing Liberty quarter of 1921. Coin number 1. The year was 1921, a time when America was rebuilding its identity after the storm of World War I. Factories roared, people dreamed again, and amidst the steel and smoke, one of the most beautiful coins in U.S. history was born, the standing Liberty quarter. But 1921 wasn't just another minting year. It was a year of rarity, rebirth, and silence. Production was halted, mint records were limited, and the coins struck that year were few. So few that decades later, collectors began whispering about their near-mythical scarcity. This wasn't just a coin, it was a symbol of freedom itself. Lady Liberty, standing tall between two towers, holding her shield of protection in one hand and an olive branch of peace in the other. Every line, every curve, every glimmer of that silver tells a story of America's pride and strength. Made from 90% silver and 10% copper, this quarter carries the weight of a nation's history in its small circle. And what makes the 1921 issue so special is not just its age, but its silence. A coin minted only in Philadelphia without a mint mark, during a short production window that almost never happened. As the decades passed, many of these quarters disappeared, lost to melting pots, circulation, or simply time. Finding one today, especially in very fine condition, feels like stumbling upon buried treasure beneath your own feet. And here's where the story turns golden. The moment a 1921 is standing Liberty quarter surfaces in the collector's market, excitement ripples through the community like lightning. Auctions fill with anticipation. Hands tremble. Prices climb higher and higher until the room falls silent and the hammer drops. Because this particular coin, yes, this one, isn't just rare. It's a masterpiece of American artistry, a symbol of early 20th century craftsmanship that can turn any collector into a legend overnight. The current market value of this 1921 standing Liberty quarter, in very fine condition, is a jaw-dropping $225,000, and it's not fiction, my friends. This is reality. The value of this silver beauty is increasing day by day, and experts say it's only the beginning. The more time passes, the rarer it becomes, and the higher it climbs, like a sleeping giant, waking up in today's auction market. So if you ever come across one, don't underestimate it. Handle it with care, protect it, and have it professionally graded. Because you might just be holding a piece of American history, a fortune that grows every single day. For collectors, this coin represents more than just silver. It represents pride, prestige, and the thrill of owning something that the world chases, but only a few ever find. Keep your eyes sharp and your heart ready, because treasures like these don't wait forever. And remember, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you freshly updated stories of rare American treasures every single day. So stay tuned, because the next coin on our list might just redefine the meaning of valuable. Coin number 2. The year is 1919. The war has ended. Soldiers are returning home, and the nation is trying to heal. America is rebuilding its strength, its spirit, and its dreams. Amidst that rebirth, the U.S. Mint releases something breathtaking, a coin so elegant, so symbolic, that even today it sends chills down the spine of every true collector. That coin is the Standing Liberty Quarter of 1990. But here's where the story begins to twist, because this isn't just a coin. It's a relic of hope, forged in the shadow of one of the most emotional years in American history. Picture it. Lady Liberty, strong yet graceful, standing guard between two pillars of time. In one hand, her shield, ready to protect the nation. In the other, an olive branch, a promise of peace. Her gaze fixed forward into a future America was still learning to believe in. Minted in Philadelphia, this 1919 issue carries no mint mark. And that's exactly what makes it one of the rarest and most sought-after coins in U.S. numismatic history. It was struck during a time of economic adjustment, when silver supplies were unstable and production numbers were unusually low. The Philadelphia Mint produced fewer quarters that year than almost any other in the Standing Liberty series, and most were heavily circulated, worn down by time, and lost to history. To find one today in fine condition is almost unbelievable. Each line on Liberty's gown, each feather on the eagle soaring on the reverse, tells a story of survival through a century of change. Collectors know the 1919 Standing Liberty Quarter is not merely a piece of silver, it's a time capsule. It captures a fragile yet powerful moment in America's soul, that delicate balance between courage and calm, between battle and peace. Its composition is pure classic, 90% silver, 10% copper, a blend that has weathered time like no other. The silver gleam of this coin isn't just metal, it's history crystallized, frozen in brilliance. Now let's talk about its unique features, because every coin tells its secrets if you know how to listen. The 1919 Standing Liberty bears the Type II design, where Liberty's armor was modestly revised after controversy surrounded earlier versions. The shield, sharper and more defined. The date, recessed to prevent wear. The eagle's flight repositioned, soaring higher, stronger. Every detail crafted not by chance, but by pride, to embody the spirit of a new, determined America. And that's exactly what makes this piece so magnetic to collectors today. When a 1919 Standing Liberty Quarter appears at an auction, the atmosphere shifts. Collectors lean forward, hearts racing. There's electricity in the air, that feeling of witnessing something almost mythical. The bids rise fast, the tension grows thicker, until the hammer drops, and the crowd erupts. Because here's the truth. This coin doesn't just sell, it commands. The current market value of a genuine 1919 Standing Liberty Quarter in fine condition stands at a breathtaking $230,000. And that, my friends, is not an exaggeration. This isn't fiction, this isn't hype, this is reality. This coin's value is climbing higher with each passing year, as demand outpaces availability. It's becoming harder to find, and the moment one surfaces, collectors battle like it's gold from a forgotten empire. This is the kind of treasure that can change everything. A coin that makes you realize the power of patience, preservation, and pure luck. For collectors, here's a tip you'll never forget. If you ever come across a Standing Liberty Quarter dated 1919, check the details carefully. The date must be crisp. Liberty's head and shield should be visible, even if faint. The eagle's feathers, that's where the real story lies. If it's genuine, protect it instantly. Store it in airtight protection, have it graded, and never polish it. Its natural tone, its aged glow, that's where its soul and value live. Because holding this coin is like holding the heartbeat of 1919, a time when America stood again, proud and unbroken. And as time passes, this coin's story becomes even more valuable. Its price will not fall, it will rise and rise again. The market recognizes its rarity, its emotion, and its unmatched historical significance. So if you ever find one, remember, you're not just looking at silver, you're holding a piece of the American dream. Stay with me, because what's coming next is even rarer, even more powerful, and even more mysterious. We're about to uncover another coin that doesn't just hold value, it holds a legend. And remember, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you freshly updated rare coin discoveries every single day. So don't blink. The next one could be your key to fortune. Coin number 3. The year was 1927, the heart of the Roaring Twenties. The streets of America pulsed with rhythm and ambition. Jazz echoed through smoky bars. Cars thundered down cobblestone roads, and a new generation was rising, bold, fearless, and ready to leave the past behind. But hidden within this age of glamour and innovation, the Philadelphia Mint quietly produced a coin that would one day become a collector's dream, the Standing Liberty Quarter of 1927. No mint mark, no fanfare, just a coin, or so it seemed, destined to become one of the most breathtaking rarities in numismatic history. The Standing Liberty design, introduced in 1916, had already won hearts across America. Lady Liberty herself stands tall, bold, and determined, guarding the gate of freedom. Her shield gleams with protection. Her olive branch stretches forward as if offering peace to a restless world. Every curve, every detail of this 1927 issue captures the soul of a nation between two wars, strong yet graceful, confident yet cautious. Made from 90% silver and 10% copper, this coin carries not just precious metal, it carries American identity. But here's where the story deepens. By 1927, the Standing Liberty series was nearing the end of its legendary run. Production numbers were dropping, designs were changing, and few people realized they were witnessing the twilight of one of the most artistic coinages in U.S. history. The Philadelphia Mint struck these quarters in limited quantities, and most entered circulation immediately. They jingled in pockets, scraped across counters, and vanished into everyday life. That's why, today, finding one in fine condition is like finding a diamond in an ocean of sand. Collectors describe the 1927 issue as deceptively simple, yet incredibly rare. Look closely at the coin and you'll see why. The crispness of Liberty's robe, the shield's delicate lines, the eagle in flight on the reverse, they each tell the story of craftsmanship that belongs to another era. This is not a coin you stumble upon. It's a coin that finds you when the time is right. And when it does, your life changes. Because this treasure, this shimmering artifact of 1927 holds a market value that shocks even the most seasoned collectors. When a 1927 Standing Liberty Quarter in fine condition appears at an auction, the air thickens. You can feel the excitement, the disbelief. Everyone knows what's about to happen, but no one's ready for it. The hammer drops, and the number echoes through the rooms. A jaw-dropping $185,000. That's right, $185,000 for a single quarter born in the roaring decade of flappers, speakeasies, and dreams. This isn't a fantasy. This isn't speculation. This is the truth of today's auction market, a reality where silver transforms into legend. And it doesn't stop there. The market value of the 1,927 Standing Liberty Quarter is rising every year. As collectors realize how few remain in collectible condition, the demand surges. The price climbs like a hidden current, quietly but powerfully, turning this coin into a sleeping giant of hidden wealth. For collectors and enthusiasts alike, here's something to remember. Always examine the date carefully. Many Standing Liberty Quarters have worn dates, but a visible 1,927, with sharp features on Liberty's robe and shield, is a sign of immense potential. Never clean it, never polish it. The natural toning, the silver's soft grey patina, that's what gives it authenticity and life. A coin's history should be seen, not erased. If you ever hold one, take a deep breath, because you're touching a moment that has survived 98 years of history. You're holding the echo of the 1,920S frozen in silver. Think about it. This coin has outlived the Great Depression, 2 world wars, and a century of change. Yet here it stands, more valuable, more desired, more alive than ever. The 1,927 Standing Liberty Quarter isn't just money, it's a masterpiece. A time traveler, a treasure sealed in silver that reminds us that the smallest things can carry the greatest power. So keep your eyes open, treasure hunters, because somewhere out there, another 1,927 Standing Liberty Quarter might still be waiting, in a forgotten attic, a dusty collection, or a coin jar you've never checked. And when it finds you, your story will never be the same again. And remember, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you freshly updated discoveries, rare auctions, and hidden U.S. treasures every single day. Stay tuned, because the next coin we're about to reveal is even more astonishing, rarer, more mysterious, and possibly worth a fortune that defies belief. Coin number 4. It's 1918th. The world is trembling on the edge of change. The Great War is ending, and a new chapter for humanity, and for America, is about to begin. Factories are quieting, soldiers are returning home, and hope is beginning to rise once again across the land. And from the silence of those post-war days, a small circle of silver emerged, one that carried the courage, sacrifice, and resilience of an entire generation. That coin was the Standing Liberty Quarter of 1918. Minted in Philadelphia, without any mint mark, this coin wasn't just currency. It was a symbol of America standing tall after a storm. Look closely, and you'll see her, Lady Liberty, bold and unyielding, standing at the gateway of peace and strength. Her shield raised, her olive branch extended. One foot steps forward, as if leading the nation into the future. This isn't just artistry. It's a story sculpted into silver. Made from 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1,918 Standing Liberty Quarter represents the strength and purity of post-war America. But what truly sets it apart is the scarcity. The 1,918 issue had one of the shortest production runs in the entire series. Philadelphia was still recovering from the disruptions of war. Manpower was limited, materials were redirected, and the mint's focus was divided. Only a small number of these coins were struck, and even fewer survived the decades that followed. The Great Depression, silver melts, and the passage of time devoured most of them. Those that remain, especially in fine condition, are now sacred relics to collectors. And here's something truly fascinating. The 1,918 design marks a historical transformation. This was the first full year after the Mint modified the Standing Liberty design, replacing the controversial bare-breasted Liberty of 1917 with a more modest version. The date, which had worn away easily on earlier strikes, was recessed into the pedestal. The eagle on the reverse now soared higher, symbolizing renewed national spirit. This is not just a coin, it's a transformation frozen in metal. It tells the story of a nation maturing, growing stronger, wiser, and more united. Now picture this: an auction hall filled with experts, collectors, and dreamers. A small silver coin is placed beneath the spotlight. The room falls silent. They all know what it is. They all know what it's worth. The bidding starts. $100,000, $150,000, $200,000. And then the unthinkable happens. The hammer drops, and history is made. Because this 1918 Standing Liberty quarter, in fine condition, commands a staggering $246,500 in today's market. Yes, a $quarter-dollar coin worth nearly $250,000. And the most astonishing part? Its value keeps climbing. Experts say it's one of the most aggressively appreciating Standing Liberty issues in modern times. Every year its worth grows, not by chance, but by destiny. Collectors hunt for it relentlessly because this coin carries more than silver. It carries soul. It represents a time when America found its courage again. If you ever encounter a 1918 Standing Liberty quarter, stop and look carefully. Check the date, make sure it's clear. Feel the texture of Liberty's robe, the fine detailing of the shield, the eagle's wings on the reverse. Even in fine condition, it should still carry traces of its original power, that shimmering spirit that survived wars, depressions, and a century of human history. Here's your collector's tip. Never underestimate a Philadelphia issue without a mint mark. These silent coins often hold the loudest stories. Protect it, certify it, and let it age gracefully. Its tone, its silver skin, that natural patina, is proof of authenticity. Never polish it, never strip away its age. That's where its beauty and value live. The 1918 Standing Liberty quarter isn't just a collectible, it's a messenger. It speaks to us from a century ago, whispering of courage, freedom, and a new dawn. And owning one isn't just an investment, it's a connection. You're holding a heartbeat from the past, a story carved in silver that time could never erase. So, treasure hunters and coin lovers, stay alert, stay curious. Because the next time you check a dusty box, an old family album, or a forgotten drawer, your fingers might brush against the edge of a $246,500 miracle. And when that happens, remember this moment. Because fortune doesn't always glitter. Sometimes it shines quietly in the palm of your hand. And don't forget, Secret of U.S. Coins brings you freshly updated stories, auctions, and rare discoveries every single day. So stay with us, because the next coin on our list hides a mystery even deeper, a coin so rare it's rewriting the record books of American treasure. Coin number 5. The year is 1920. The war is over. The soldiers are home. The cities are alive with dreams. America is roaring again, stepping into a decade that would define style, speed, and the spirit of a nation reborn. In that moment of triumph, amidst the hum of machines and the rhythm of new beginnings, the Philadelphia Mint quietly struck a coin that would one day become the silent heartbeat of collectors around the world. The Standing Liberty quarter of 1920. She stands there, Lady Liberty, tall, fierce, and beautiful. Her shield raised in protection, her olive branch outstretched as a promise of peace. Her stance is powerful, yet graceful, the perfect balance of strength and serenity. This isn't just another quarter. This is a symbol of America's courage to move forward. Minted from 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1920 Standing Liberty Quarter captures the raw emotion of post-war America, a nation learning to dream again. But what most people don't realize is that 1920 was not a routine minting year. It was a turning point. That year faced unusual challenges, changes in minting equipment, new die adjustments, and the delicate redesign of Liberty's figure meant fewer flawless coins were produced. And without any mint mark, these quarters looked ordinary, until history revealed how rare they truly were. Most of them vanished into circulation, spent, worn, melted, and forgotten. But the few that survived carry a beauty that time couldn't touch. The fine condition specimens that exist today still show the subtle folds of Liberty's gown, the glint of her shield, and the proud eagle soaring high on the reverse, wings stretched in freedom. Each detail whispers a story, a century of endurance, a monument to craftsmanship. Now imagine this, an auction hall filled with anticipation. Collectors lean forward, cameras flash, and then, under the spotlight, the silver gleam of a 1920 Standing Liberty Quarter appears. It looks simple, modest, but everyone in that room knows this is no ordinary coin. The bidding starts slow, then builds, faster, higher. The numbers leap, $100,000, $150,000. The energy in the room trembles, and when the gavel falls, the number echoes through the hall, $220,500. That's the current market value of this extraordinary 1920 Standing Liberty Quarter in fine condition. And this isn't just a lucky sale, it's the reflection of true rarity meeting unstoppable collector demand. Because each year, fewer of these coins are found intact, and with every passing day, the demand grows. Experts say its value has climbed steadily, not by hype, but by the pure, undeniable force of scarcity and legacy. Now here's what collectors must know. The 1920 quarter carries what experts call the silver dream pattern. When you tilt it under natural light, its surface glows softly, a faint grey-silver tone that can only form with age and authenticity. This natural luster can't be faked. It's the mark of time, the breath of history itself. If you ever hold one in your hand, feel its weight. Run your eyes across the date, the rim, the shield. If the details are sharp and untouched, if the patina feels real, you're not just holding silver, you're holding a story worth over $200,000 and climbing. The Standing Liberty Quarter of 1920 stands as a symbol of everything America once was, proud, brave, and reborn. It's not just a coin, it's a time traveler, a witness to the Jazz Age, the first automobiles, the spark of modern America itself. And that's what makes it so powerful. When you own one, you're not collecting metal, you're preserving a heartbeat from the past, a moment frozen in silver that will never come again. So here's your collector's insight. Always protect it. Store it safely in a temperature-controlled holder. Avoid cleaning it, because every mark, every tone, every shimmer on that coin adds to its authenticity and magic. The untouched silver of a century ago carries a spirit you can't replace. And remember, this coin's story is far from over. Its value isn't at its peak yet. It's still rising, quietly year after year, as collectors fight for fewer and fewer surviving pieces. A treasure today, a legend tomorrow. So treasure hunters, keep your eyes open. That forgotten coin in a drawer, that silver glint in a family collection, could be your ticket into the story of American wealth and heritage. And trust me, finding a 1920 Standing Liberty Quarter could mean discovering not just a rare coin, but a living fortune. This is Secret of U.S. Coins, where we bring you freshly updated stories of America's rarest treasures every single day. Stay tuned, because what's coming next will shake even the most seasoned collectors. Our next coin reveals a secret so powerful it changed the entire perception of silver value in the U.S. Coin number 6. In a quiet Denver night, in 1954, deep inside the echoing halls of the U.S., mint, molten silver poured into ancient molds, glowing white-hot, shaping the face of a man whose mind changed the world. Benjamin Franklin. He was the philosopher of freedom, the thinker, the dreamer. And now, more than 2 centuries after his birth, his legacy was struck in silver, a coin meant to honor intellect, invention, and independence. But among the millions minted that year, only a handful would survive time's relentless test in fine condition. Those bearing the D mint mark from Denver, touched by a faint black shade, kissed by oxidation and history itself. Those few coins, darkened just slightly with time, became the true relics of America's post-war prosperity. The 1954 with D. Franklin $half isn't just another silver coin. It's the closing chapter of an era, the final years before America's silver coins began to vanish from circulation forever. Struck from 90% silver, this coin holds the glint of purity and pride. But its real magic lies in its subtle imperfection, the light black shade across Franklin's calm, wise face. That tone isn't dirt. It's history. It's what numismatists call a natural oxidation veil, a mark of authenticity that can increase its collector value tenfold. Why? Because untouched coins that carry these natural hues prove they've survived untouched for decades, never polished, never altered, never stripped of their time-earned dignity. And this particular piece, the 1954 with D. Franklin $half, is one of the rarest to show that perfect balance. Silver sheen with just the faintest whisper of black aging. For years, it hid in plain sight. Collectors overlooked it, thinking the Franklin series was too modern, too ordinary. But when a perfectly preserved 1954 with D appeared at a major auction, the world's top coin experts leaned in. And when the bidding began, something extraordinary happened. $50,000, $75,000, $100,000. The numbers kept climbing until the final hammer fell at a jaw-dropping $178,000. The room erupted. The whispers turned to awe. That single coin, once a mere 50 cents, now symbolized one of the most shocking surges in collector history. And suddenly, every serious numismatist began searching, desperate to find another with the same deep Denver mint strike, the same untouched luster, the same light black shade of authenticity. It's not just about rarity, it's about legacy. The Franklin $half was the first U.S. coin to feature a real American statesman instead of an allegorical figure. No goddess, no liberty, just the face of a man whose wisdom built the foundation of the nation. Flip it over and you'll find the Liberty Bell, a symbol of freedom that carries a small crack, just like the real one in Philadelphia. That imperfection? It's intentional, a tribute to truth, that freedom is beautiful even with its flaws. So when you hold this coin, you're holding a mirror to America's past. You're holding the voice of Benjamin Franklin whispering from history itself. An investment in knowledge pays the best interest. And that's exactly what this coin has become. An investment that multiplies in both value and meaning. If you ever come across a Franklin $half with a D mint mark right above the Liberty Bell, check for 3 signs. A balanced silver tone with a faint natural black hue, not grime but time. Sharp bell lines on the reverse, what collectors call full bell lines, a hallmark of quality. An untouched surface, uncleaned, naturally aged. That's your jackpot, because that's how experts verified the $178,000 specimen, pure, original, fine condition, kissed by Denver's 1,954 craftsmanship, from 50 cents to $178,000. From the pocket of an American worker to the vault of a collector elite. This coin traveled through time, holding a message from one genius to another. And as the years pass, fewer survive. Each remaining 1,954 with D. Franklin half-dollar becomes more than a collectible. It becomes a legacy investment. So if you ever stumble across one in your collection, don't overlook it. You might just be holding a hidden $178,000 treasure, a silver whisper from the age of wisdom, and one of the most undervalued masterpieces in American numismatic history. This is Secrets of U.S. Coins, where we uncover the shocking truths, the hidden legends, and the real fortunes sleeping inside forgotten pockets of history. And trust me, the next coin on our list, it's one so rare, even the experts thought it was lost forever. Stay tuned. You won't believe what's coming next. Coin number 7. It's 1,949. The world is healing. America is booming. And the San Francisco Mint stands proudly on the West Coast, turning molten silver into pieces of national pride. And from those roaring furnaces came one of the most mysterious and sought-after half-dollars in the entire Franklin series, the 1,949 with E.S. Franklin half-dollar. At first glance, it's calm, almost humble. Franklin's wise face, his calm eyes, the Liberty Bell echoing freedom on the back. But don't be fooled. This isn't an ordinary coin. This one carries a secret, born in the early months of 1949, a year when production numbers fell sharply, when silver purity was tested, and when collectors had no idea that something extraordinary was being created in silence. The Franklin half-dollar series began just 2 years earlier, in 1948, and by 1949, the design was still new, experimental, and deeply symbolic. It was the first coin in American history to honor a founding father for his wisdom, not his power. And the San Francisco Mint, marked by that bold S, produced only a limited batch. Each coin bore Franklin's stoic portrait and the famous Liberty Bell on the reverse, complete with its iconic crack, the same crack that reminds every American that freedom is hard-earned and never perfect. But what makes the 1,949 with S different is how few survived in fine, original condition. Minted in much lower numbers than later Franklins, many were lost, circulated, melted, or simply worn beyond recognition. To find one today, especially with that faint light brown shade of honest aging, is like finding a lost page from the American storybook. That gentle brown hue isn't damage, it's beauty. It's what numismatists call a patina, formed by decades of natural oxidation. It proves this coin lived through time, untouched, uncleaned, authentic. It's the color of history, whispering from the metal. Every 1,949 with S. Franklin half-dollar tells its own story through its tone. The faint brown shimmer across the silver fields, the sharp lines of Franklin's profile, and the depth of the Liberty Bell's details, they all show the hands of true craftsmanship. Unlike many later strikes, the San Francisco Mint coins of this year often had weaker impressions, making strong, detailed examples incredibly valuable. But when you find one with visible bell lines, crisp detail, and that rich vintage surface, that's when you know you've found something extraordinary. That's when collectors stop breathing for a second. Because these aren't coins that show up every day. They emerge once in a blue moon, from private vaults, old estates, or forgotten family boxes, and when they do, the market trembles. The 1949 with S. Franklin half dollar is one of the most underappreciated powerhouses in numismatics. For decades, experts dismissed it as just another early Franklin. But as grading technology improved and rarity lists were updated, something shocking emerged. Only a tiny fraction of these coins survived with their mint details intact, and even fewer carried that rich, untouched surface, the brown-toned silver glow that collectors now crave. Once the auctions began recognizing its scarcity, prices began to skyrocket. It started with whispers, $30,000, $60,000. And then, as serious collectors caught on, the real bidding war erupted. The moment the gavel hit for the final time, the world of coin collecting stood still. The 1949 Franklin half dollar, fine condition, lightly brown shaded, sold for a breathtaking $184,000. And it didn't stop there. The value has been rising ever since. Experts say its upward trend is unstoppable because each year more worn examples disappear and the surviving few become even rarer. This isn't fiction. This is real, and it's happening right now in the collector's market. Hold one, and you're not just holding a half dollar. You're holding a silent piece of American history worth more than gold. A treasure that could change your life overnight. If you ever get your hands on a Franklin half dollar from 1949, look carefully. Right above the Liberty Bell, search for that delicate S mint mark, your sign that this piece came from San Francisco's legendary mint presses. Check the bell lines. Clear, unbroken ridges are a sign of quality. Look for that light brown glow, the honest mark of untouched silver. And whatever you do, never polish it. Its natural tone is what gives it life, and what makes collectors chase it across continents. Because the moment you find one that fits these marks, you're staring at a coin that could fetch six figures at auction, a genuine treasure, not of fantasy, but of fact. The 1949 with S. Franklin half dollar isn't just a collectible. It's a symbol of endurance. A coin born in the aftermath of war, carrying Franklin's wisdom through time, shining brighter today than ever before. As the years pass, its value doesn't fade. It grows stronger, richer, and rarer. And someday soon, the world will look back and realize that those who held on to these coins weren't just collectors. They were visionaries. So, if you ever find that small S beneath the Liberty Bell, hold it tight, because you might just be holding a $184,000 treasure, a coin that carries not just silver, but a story that lives forever. And remember, this is Secret of U.S. Coins, your daily portal to America's most breathtaking discoveries, where every video reveals a hidden fortune waiting to be found. Coin number 8. It was the dawn of a new era, 1948 Ampere's year, when America looked ahead with confidence after the storms of war had finally passed. Factories thrummed, families grew, and deep inside the Denver Mint, something remarkable began, the striking of the first ever Franklin half dollar. And from that year forward, the name Franklin would echo through the corridors of coin history. This coin wasn't born from myth or monarchy, but from mind. Benjamin Franklin, the thinker, inventor, statesman, was chosen to be the face of a new chapter in America's coinage. No helmets, no crowns, no allegorical figures, just the calm, wise gaze of the man who shaped the nation's ideals of freedom and intellect. And among all the mints, one stood out, Denver. Marked by the small but mighty D below the Liberty Bell, these 1948 Denver issues became the crown jewels of the entire Franklin series. The Franklin half dollar was authorized in 1948 to honor one of America's founding geniuses. It replaced the Walking Liberty design, itself a masterpiece, but brought something deeper: simplicity, truth, and intelligence. Each coin was struck from 90% silver, a purity that carries both brilliance and value. But the Denver Mint's early strikes were limited, experimental, and often varied in quality, meaning very few survived in pristine or fine condition today. And that's where the legend begins. Because one of those rare, perfectly preserved 1948 with D coins carrying a subtle light black layer from natural oxidation became a symbol of collector prestige. That layer, that mysterious darkness across the silver, isn't damage, it's authenticity, jashe. It's time itself, painted on silver. It tells you this coin has never been cleaned, never altered, and has remained untouched since the moment it left the Denver Mint floor over 75 years ago. That's what collectors dream of, not just metal, but time preserved. Take a close look at this coin, and you'll see artistry unlike any other. Franklin's face, serene yet commanding, is a tribute to knowledge over power. On the reverse, the Liberty Bell stands tall, a small crack, reminding America that perfection isn't necessary for greatness. But here's the secret most people miss: the D mint mark, right above the bell. That single letter transforms this coin from common to extraordinary. And the faint black layer across its surface, that's what numismatists call deep silver toning, a thin, natural patina formed by decades of gentle air exposure. It enhances its depth, contrast, and most importantly, its value. Because once it's gone, once it's cleaned or stripped, the magic disappears forever. When the Franklin half dollar first appeared, collectors didn't realize how short-lived or rare some early issues would become. The Denver Mint struck only a fraction compared to later years, making 1948D one of the scarcest first-year examples in the series. For years, few noticed. Then, as grading evolved and the surviving coins were tallied, experts were shocked. Only a handful remained in fine, untouched condition, and those with that signature light black layer, practically non-existent. When a 1948 with D finally surfaced at auction, the bidding was electric. $40,000, $80,000, $120,000, and then silence until the gavel fell, $188,000. The room erupted in disbelief. A coin, once worth 50 cents, now an American relic worth more than most homes. But that wasn't the end. Experts now believe this coin's value is still rising, year after year. And trust me, this is no exaggeration. The market for early Denver Franklins is booming, and collectors know these coins are disappearing fast. The longer you hold one, the rarer it becomes, and the more it transforms into a fortune in your hands. If you ever stumble upon a Franklin half dollar dated 1948, here's your clue. Turn it over and look just above the bell's top. If you see that crisp little D, congratulations, you're looking at a Denver Mint treasure. Now check for that soft, natural black layer. It should look like a thin veil, elegant even, and untouched. And when you tilt the coin under light, the silver should still shimmer beneath it. That's your signal that the coin hasn't been cleaned, and that's what collectors crave most. Never polish it, never wipe it. Let it age with grace. Because every year that passes, its story and its value grow stronger. The 1948 with D Franklin half dollar isn't just another collectible, it's the birth of an era. It represents knowledge, truth, and freedom, all cast into a rare silver piece that refuses to fade. And today, with its $188,000 market value, This coin stands as proof that wisdom truly pays the best interest, just like Benjamin Franklin himself once said. Hold it, and you hold the beginning of something eternal. Own it, and you own a piece of the American dream, pure, powerful, and priceless. This is Secret of U.S. Coins, where every video reveals another hidden treasure waiting to be found in the most unexpected places. And trust me, what's coming next is even more shocking. Because the next coin on our list doesn't just hold history, it rewrites it. Coin number 9. The year is 1961. America is on the edge of a new frontier: space exploration, technological revolutions, and a nation buzzing with energy. And inside the roaring heart of the Denver Mint, the last era of true silver coins was coming to an end. Molten silver shimmered under the mint lights, poured into molds that bore one of the most intelligent faces in American history, Benjamin Franklin. But among the millions of coins struck that year, there was one batch that fate touched differently. A few select coins emerged with a subtle, haunting black shadow, a layer of time that would later become the signature mark of authenticity for one of the most valuable circulated coins in U.S. history. First struck in 1948, was nearing its twilight in 1961. Just 2 years later, in 1963, the series would end forever, replaced by the Kennedy half-dollar. So this 1961 with D coin stands as a farewell to the Silver Age, one of the last Franklin halves to be minted in 90% silver before America's coinage changed forever. Each piece represented a closing chapter of purity, both in composition and craftsmanship. But while millions were made, only a few rare survivors from Denver's 1961 run would develop that distinctive black shade, a tone that experts now see as nature's autograph, a stamp of untouched authenticity. That dark veil, that natural oxidation, forms over decades, a reaction between silver and the air itself. And for collectors, that patina means everything. It's proof the coin has lived history, not escaped it. Look closely at a 1961 with D. Franklin half-dollar, and you'll see something extraordinary beneath its simplicity. The front bears Franklin's calm, intelligent gaze, a design that reminds every American that ideas, not armies, built this nation. The reverse displays the Liberty Bell, its crack symbolizing the beauty of imperfection, a perfect metaphor for this very coin. But what truly makes this 1961 with D version remarkable is that subtle black shade, a tone uneven yet mesmerizing, hinting at the countless hands it passed through before finding its way into history's vault. Even though it's circulated, this black-toned coin holds a power untouched by time. It's not pristine, but it's alive. It has lived, traveled, and carried with it the energy of decades gone by. That's why collectors don't just chase shiny perfection. They crave truth, the kind etched in silver and sealed by time. Here's where the story turns thrilling. Because you might think, a circulated coin? How could that be worth a fortune? But the 1961 with D. Franklin half-dollar shattered that belief. When one surfaced in fine circulated condition, darkened naturally with age, perfectly balanced with tone and texture, collectors went wild. The bidding began quietly. $20,000, $40,000, $90,000, and then it exploded. Phones rang, hands raised. The auction hall pulsed with adrenaline. When the hammer finally fell, the room erupted in disbelief. $158,000 for a coin that once jingled in someone's pocket. Experts declared it one of the most stunning circulated finds in modern coin history, a piece that proved that condition isn't the only path to value. Authenticity, rarity, and timing can turn an everyday coin into a national treasure. And since then, the value of this coin has only climbed higher, steadily, silently, relentlessly. Because every year, more coins fade away, cleaned, melted, or lost, and the survivors become living legends. This is no fiction. The market value is real and growing, with experts predicting that within the next decade, the best 1,961Ds could double or even triple in worth. So if you ever find one, you're not just holding metal, you're holding history. Turn your $half over and look just above the Liberty Bell. If you spot a small, crisp D, that's Denver. Now tilt the coin under light. See that black shade, soft and even, especially around Franklin's portrait and the bell's edges? That's the mark. It's the silent sign that time has left its fingerprint on the silver, a fingerprint that collectors will pay dearly for. Never clean it, never polish it, because once that natural shadow is gone, so is its soul. The 1961 with D. Franklin $half is proof that not all treasures shine. Some whisper, some hide beneath a soft black tone, carrying with them decades of American history, untouched, unaltered, alive. Today, its $158,000 value stands not just as a number, but as a symbol of endurance. A reminder that even a coin that lived a life, passing through hands, pockets, and stories, can become a priceless relic of time itself. And as collectors chase the last remaining survivors, the market grows hotter every year. So if one ever crosses your path, don't ignore it. You might be holding the final echo of Franklin's legacy and a fortune in silver's disguise. This is Secret of U.S. Coins, your daily source for freshly uncovered treasures from America's hidden history. Stay tuned, because the final coin in this list will leave you absolutely speechless. Coin number 10. The year is 1963. America stands on the edge of transformation. The air is electric, filled with promise, progress, and tragedy soon to come. And deep inside the Denver Mint, a final chapter is being written in pure silver. The last Franklin $half ever to be struck are rolling off the presses. None knew it then, but these coins would become the swan song of an era, the end of true silver currency in America. Since 1948, the Franklin $half had been a symbol of wisdom, freedom, and enlightenment, honoring one of the greatest thinkers in U.S. history, Benjamin Franklin. For 15 years, it carried the nation's ideals in its silver heart. But in 1963, destiny decided it was time to say goodbye. Because just months later, America would mourn President John F. Kennedy, and the coin bearing his name would replace Franklin's design forever. That makes this 1963D issue more than just a coin. It's a last breath, the final spark of the Silver Age before it faded into history. And that's why collectors whisper about it with reverence. The 1963D Franklin $half, the last true silver $half of its kind. Now look closer. The front, Franklin's calm and contemplative portrait, captures the timeless power of knowledge. The reverse, the Liberty Bell, cracked yet proud, symbolizes freedom that endures, even when tested by time. Just above that bell, you'll see it, the small, clear D mint mark, a quiet mark of Denver's precision. This isn't just any mint. Denver struck these coins in the final hours before an era ended. And that gives this coin a soul unlike any other. In fine condition, this piece still holds the luster of silver that once jingled in 1960s America, gas stations, diners, jukeboxes, and dreams. It's a portal to the moment just before everything changed. At first glance, The 1963D Franklin half-dollar might look ordinary. Millions were made after all. But the truth? Only a handful survived in pristine and naturally preserved condition. Most were melted, lost, or worn beyond recognition. And those few fine-condition survivors, still shimmering with their 90% silver purity, have now become collector gold, or rather, collector silver. In recent auctions, one of these fine-condition Denver strikes shocked the world, selling for a jaw-dropping $150,000. Not because of a mint error, not because of a special mark, but because it was the last of its kind, the final chapter in the story of American silver coinage. Collectors didn't just bid for a coin, they bid for history, for closure, for a piece of an America that will never exist again. And now, the demand for these final Franklin issues is soaring. Experts believe the 1963D could soon break its own record, especially as fewer unaltered coins remain. Because once again, time becomes the rarest treasure of all. If you ever hold a Franklin half-dollar, here's how to know you found the 1963 with D treasure. Look just above the Liberty Bell. The D mint mark marks it as Denver's masterpiece. The coin's silver tone should still gleam softly, neither too bright nor too dull. Fine-condition coins show crisp details on Franklin's hair and the bell's lettering, a sign of light circulation but perfect preservation. And most importantly, never clean it. That fine layer of silver tone is nature's signature, your proof of authenticity. Because cleaning it erases not just its shine, but its soul and its value. The 1963 with D Franklin half-dollar is more than metal. It's the last heartbeat of an era when American coins were made of real silver and real spirit. It marks the end of an age and the beginning of another. Today, its $150,000 market value isn't just about rarity, it's about resonance. Because when you hold this coin, you're holding the moment before history turned the page. The moment before silver gave way to copper. Before Franklin gave way to Kennedy. Before one America became another. And that's what makes this coin priceless. Not the silver within it, but the story it carries forever. So remember this, treasure hunters. Sometimes the most valuable things in the world aren't the newest or shiniest. They're the ones that tell us where we came from and whisper who we used to be. This is Secret of U.S. Coins, and you've just witnessed the final echo of Franklin's legacy. Stay tuned, because the next story might just be hiding in your pocket.